Hi folks, and thanks for watching my video today. We're looking at the Boeing 737 MAX 10. This is the largest in the 737 MAX series. And we're currently parked on the tarmac at Edmonton International Airport in Alberta, Canada. And we're going to be flying to Toronto International Airport in Toronto, Ontario. And for this flight, we've loaded about 26,900 pounds of fuel, allowing for 1 hour of reserve. The purpose of this video is twofold. Number one, I'm going to show you how to start the engine, and number two, I'm going to show you how to manage fuel along the way. I'll try to keep this video as short as I can, but we're going to have to climb up cruise altitude before I can demonstrate the ways of managing your fuel with only 1 hour of reserve. So let's hop in the cockpit and we'll have a look around and we'll get the show on the road. Okay, so here we are in the cockpit of the 737 MAX 10. And as you can see, the aircraft is, for the most part, cold and dark. It is hooked up to ground power right now, while the autopilot is lit up, and there are some things lit up, but for the most part, the aircraft is cold and dark. I'm going to go through the startup procedure, and then get the aircraft going. So the first thing you have to do when you're starting up the 737 MAX series is open your pedestal and turn off the fuel cutoff valves. And you can close that once you do that. And then we're going to open up the overhead panel. Now, at this particular airport, we don't have ground power. If we did have ground power, this light here would be illuminated. It's not illuminated, so we don't have ground power at this particular spot. So we're going to go through the startup procedure for starting the aircraft without ground power. The procedure is basically the same, just a different way of powering it up. In this case, we're going to use the reserve power left in the batteries from the previous flight. Turn on the battery, and the sequence comes to light. Turn on the main breaker and the auxiliary generator. From here, it's basically left or right. We turn on the fuel pumps. Turn off the emergency exits. Turn on the seatbelts. Engine anti-ice and hydraulics. And the wing anti-ice, fuel isolation valve, and the APU bleed. And we'll turn on the PSOGs and the fuel tank meters, and turn on the APU. And turn on the panel lights as well, so you can see what we're doing here. You notice the exhaust gas temperature gauge is coming up, and the APU gen light is running. At this point, we are independent of ground power. We don't need that anymore. I'm going to go ahead and start the engines. Turn this to ground. And you're going to listen to the engine note, and you're waiting for a bassy sound to come to the engines. It takes 3 minutes for the engines to cool up to that point. And we're starting to hear the bassy sounds of the engines right now. At this point, you're going to turn off the APU again on the left-hand engine. And that starts up both engines. We turn on the generators for the engines. And the exterior lighting. At this point, we don't need the APU anymore, so we can turn that off. And set the isolation valve to automatic. That's the middle position. Now you notice we have some lights on here. Those are because we have the external doors open. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the ground service vehicles and shut the doors. And now that we have that done, I can look at the overhead supply strip. Next thing you have to do here is this aircraft is input in an IRS system, so we have to find that while we're stationary on the ground. So once you start a flight with this aircraft, for the most part you have to finish that flight. There's no reloading the aircraft during the flight. There's no saving the flight and coming back to it later. That's not an option with this aircraft. Once you commit to a flight, you have to finish it. It takes about 30 seconds for the IRS to line up, and once it does, you'll get your avionics, which as you can see are lit up now. And at this point, you turn off the master caution light. The aircraft is ready to go. Turn on our taxi lights. And we'll get clearance from aircraft control.
Edmonton clearance delivery, Westjet Juliet 843, ready to copy IFR clearance to Toronto. Westjet Juliet 843 is cleared to Toronto Airport as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 13,000. Departure frequency is 100.5, squawk 5042. Westjet Juliet 843, cleared to Toronto as filed. Fly runway heading, climb and maintain 13,000. Departure on 120.5, squawk 5042. Westjet Juliet 843, feedback correct. Contact ground on 121.7. Edmonton ground, Westjet Juliet 843, with information. Juliet, we must taxi IFR. Westjet Juliet 843, taxi to the holding runway 2, taxiway effect Alpha. Contact tower 118.3 when ready. Taxi, hold short, runway 2, via taxiway Quebec Alpha, Westjet Juliet 843.
Okay, so I'm going to have a look around here and get a sense of where we're going. Make sure there's no other aircraft in my way. It looks like we're okay. See the wind lights are on now. So we're ready for pushback. Typically, with the pushback is around 45 seconds for most airports. Sometimes it's going to be less than that, but 45 is the general rule.
Ground cockpit. Go ahead. Ready for pushback. Okay,
30 minutes, sir. Release brakes. Release. Okay, push it back. Parking brakes are set. Prepare for taxi. Hand signal on left side. Okay, going to road. Hand signal on left side.
And so, if you look at the right side of the cockpit here, you can see that the progressive taxi has me turning right here. So, in hindsight, I probably could have backed up and turned the opposite way, but we can still make this. Set the taxi speed at 12 knots. See, I've included some internal 2D views for various views. I'll go over those during the flight. This is the view of the forward right. And this is the view of the forward left. I'm going to turn on the secondary eye screen here. A better idea what the engine is doing and everything. As well as the flaps and elevator trim and stuff like that. One thing I should mention while we're taxiing here is the aircraft is equipped with a PA system for aircraft announcements. But if you want to use that, you have to use it right from the beginning of the flight, otherwise it can cause some major crash. You keep that in mind. If you want to use the PA system, it has to be used right at the beginning of the flight before you even push that. Turning on the VORs for both primary and secondary VOR. If you don't have those on, you won't see the VOR when you get to your destination.
Did you hear my last transmission? Clear for takeoff, runway 2, West 10, Juliet 843.
lined up on the runway. I've set my flaps to 5 degrees. And you need the elevator trim right here. You're going to set that to 1.5. This little tool here can get handy when you want to set up your autopilot. We put aside the initial altitude of 13,000 feet. We can set that, and my climb rate is going to be 1,800 feet per minute. And my initial speed, under 10,000 feet, set the auto throttle to 240 knots indicated air. It's a quick way to set up your autopilot. You can do it with the dials here as well, but I find this a little faster, especially during the takeoff phase. Now the landing lights. We're ready to go here. Turn on the flight corrector. And the auto switch. And for takeoff, we can use the toggle switch. The toggle switch is programmed to use just the right amount of thrust to simulate the length of runway you need for takeoff. If you're going to go with manual throttles, you don't want to exceed the 95% N1. Keep that in mind. This will be in the basic flying guide that I took when I released the aircraft. Ready to go.
Knots.
A bit of a crosswind here, not much, 9 knots.
V1, rotate, V2.
And airborne will be the autopilot. And set the speed to 140 knots. Track landing here.
WestJet Whiskey, land 843. Contact Edmonton departure on 120.5. And to 120.5, WestJet Whiskey, Juliet 843.
Notice I haven't retracted the flaps. This aircraft is a long aircraft, and we have a lot of fuel on board. 26,000 pounds to take. And with that amount of fuel on board, climbing at 1,800 feet per minute, and banking, our angle of attack is 4.1 degrees. It should perfectly normal for it takes off.
Edmonton departure, WestJet Whiskey, Juliet 843, is climbing through 6,000, for 13,000. WestJet Whiskey, Juliet 843, Edmonton departure, roger. Current altimeter 2990.
although we have the autothrottle set to 240 knots indicated airspeed, because of the weight we have on and the size of the aircraft and the engine, the most we can get on a climb is 230 knots indicated airspeed. Again, that's totally normal. This is not a speed limit by any means. Now, this aircraft, 1 hour of reserve fuel equates to about 5,000 gallons remaining when you land. You want to be at that or a little bit above it. You never want to be below it, because if you do, then technically you're violating FCC rules, which require you to have at least 1 hour of reserve. Don't need to have a little bit more than 1 hour, but you don't want to be less than 1 hour. I'll explain how to control that during the flight. I'm up at 10,000 feet here. We turn on the landing and taxi lights. And I'm going to increase my speed on the auto throttle to 295 knots. This one.
With Japanese Juliet 843, turn left at heading 080, resume on navigation.
No GPS switch on this plane. The GPS is handled by the plane button on the autopilot. Turn that on and off the navigation. GPS accurate flight plan.
Turn left heading 080, proceed on course. West Japanese Juliet 843, West Japanese Juliet 843. Contact Edmund, control at 134.7. 134.7, West Japanese Juliet 843. Edmonton Control, West Japanese Juliet 843, descent 12,800, climbing 13,000. West Japanese Juliet 843, Edmonton Control, Roger, altimeter 2, 990. West Japanese Juliet 843, flight level 210. Climb flight level 210, West Japanese Juliet 843.
You'll notice I set the vertical speed rate at 1,500 feet per minute. And in order to get up to Mach speed when we get to 28,000 feet, you need to lower that to 1,500 feet per minute. Otherwise, it would be quite a bit below Mach 0.78, which is your initial Mach speed at 28,000 feet. Of course, with this aircraft, you can climb fast, or you'll probably climb at 2,200 if you want to. But if you do that, you're going to reduce your airspeed during the climb. And when you get to 28,000 feet, you're going to have a lot of speed to make up between 28,000 feet and our initial cruise up to 33,000 feet. we have some time here, I just want to explain the setup with the multifunction display. This is your range button, and if you zoom that out, the map should show you the borders to give you an idea of your location. This line going down here would be the American border. This is Alberta.
American 1618. Contact Edmonton. Approach 120.5. 120.5. American Pacific 1688.
Another thing I'd like to point out is the wind indicator on the multifunction display. It's a little bit different than you see in most other aircraft. This is not the direction the wind is actually blowing. It's the direction the wind is coming at the aircraft. So if this arrow was pointing straight up, it would be pointing, would be going directly at your nose, in other words, you would have a headwind. Right now the wind is off our at left, and you have a wind of 14 gusting 19 knots. If I open up the management computer, which is wind, you can see there wind direction is 310 degrees, 15 knots. At the top we have left of the aircraft. And the difference between this and what you see right here, this is probably to the nose of the aircraft. This is the actual direction of the wind. Over 18,000 feet now. So at this point we turn on global main lights. The aircraft is equipped with AI radar, and you want to have that on if you need it. We also have GPS, again S530 here in this case, and that has a power button that needs to be turned on. To do that.
WestJet 843, flight level 270. Climate maintain, flight level 270. WestJet Juliet 843.
Shuttle tool is
WestJet Juliet 843. Contact Edmonton, control on 133.45. 133.45. WestJet Juliet 843.
The shuttle tool here is called Cockpit Commander, and I don't know if a lot of people use it, but I find it great when you need to do something in a hurry. It's a lot faster than doing it on the autopilot. It can be done on the autopilot, but this is a wee quicker.
Edmonton Control WestJet Juliet 843 is at flight level 218, climbing flight level 270. WestJet Juliet 843, Edmonton Control, roger.
Looking around the cockpit here, you obviously see the forward left and forward right views, right view and left view, rear left, and rear right. view of the cabin area. And you have a view of the entertainment system on the back of the seat, passenger seats. And right now, this is giving you a view ahead as you can see from the cockpit. This is good when you're coming in for landing, you can get the same view as what the pilot sees in the cockpit. We also have the view of the overhead. I don't know if you can see it or not, but you're moving along there. We're looking up towards the sky. And of course, we have to get down towards the cockpit as you would look in the actual 737 MAX 10. We also have an alternate PDS if you prefer it. It's a little bit more like something we would see in like a 787 or something like that. A little bit more modern. You'll notice we're holding 287, 288 notches in there today. The auto throttle set at 295. You never get what you have the auto throttle set to. So it's a little bit of loss there. The air is a little bit thinner up here, so I'm going to increase my speed on the auto throttle to 310 knots. By doing that, you better Mach speed up to close to what it needs to be when you're at 28,000 feet.
WestJet received nearly FS2004, climb and maintain flight level 330. Climb flight level 330. WestJet received Juliet 843. Edmonton Control, Emerald Harbor Air 4780 with you. Emerald Harbor Air 4780, Edmonton Control, roger. Altimeter 2985.
We're at 28,000 feet now, so we switch over to Mach speed. And you'll notice that I have the Mach speed set at Mach 0.78 at this altitude, but the aircraft's only doing Mach 0.75. That's normal, it'll catch up. The air climber. Had I not reduced the vertical speed and increased the airspeed, my Mach speed at 28,000 would have been around Mach 172. Gets us a little bit closer to very desired speed. Once you're about 30,000 feet, you can set the Mach speed to Mach 0.79. And that's our cruising speed in this aircraft. You don't want to go any higher than that.
Airway 337, contact Winnipeg Control on 133.1. 133.1, airway 337.
Coming up on 31,000 feet now, and cruising altitude is flight level 330. So I'm going to reduce the time rate down to 1,000 feet per minute. Again, that'll allow the autothrottle to catch up to what our speed is. Right now our speed is 0.78. The desired speed for autothrottle speed is 1.79. The reason it's that close is because I reduced my climb rate to 1,500 feet per minute, and I increased my airspeed lower down about 20,000 feet. You can see now that our cruising speed is 0.79 on both the autothrottle and the indicated speed. And we're just about at our cruising altitude, 330.
WestJet received Juliet 843, contact Winnipeg Control on 133.1. 133.1, WestJet received Juliet 843.
Now that we're at our cruising altitude and with the speed, we need to determine if we have enough fuel to get where we're going and whether we need to make any adjustments. We're going to turn on FS Navigator, and according to FS Navigator, our flight is 2 hours and 50 minutes. If I look at my fuel, I have enough for 3 hours and 40 minutes, somewhere around there. A little bit below what I'd like it to be. I want this to be about 1 hour more than my ETA. So we're going to climb up a little bit higher here, up to flight level 350.
Winnipeg Control, WestJet Whiskey Juliet 843, with you. WestJet Whiskey Juliet 843, Winnipeg Control, roger. Winnipeg Control, WestJet Whiskey Juliet 843, request flight level 350. WestJet Whiskey Juliet 843, flight level 350. Flight level 350, WestJet Whiskey Juliet 843.
And again, during step climbing, you almost always do 2,000 feet at a time at 1,000 feet per minute. That helps you maintain your airspeed. The reason we're climbing higher is the higher you fly, the thinner the air is, the more fuel efficient the aircraft is, because it doesn't have to deal with the wind resistance, aerodynamic resistance, I guess is the right word. here, even on climbing, my Mach speed is matching my auto throttle speed, which is exactly what you want to see. And remember at flight level 350, I'm going to turn on the fasten seatbelt time. Once again, we're going to have a check on their ETA versus 550. Their ETA to Toronto Pearson International Airport, or CO5D, is 2 hours and 47 minutes. And we have 3 hours, almost 4 hours there, so a little bit more than an hour of reserve trip. That's exactly what we want to see. We want to be a little bit over our ETA. Our ETA is 2 hours and 50 minutes, and we're hovering right around it, and that should be fine. I think we need to adjust it later on. We'll climb higher, make up the difference, but right now that's fine. A couple of things I want to show you here before I end the video. This is your mode switch with the multifunction display, and it's a pulse to earth mode, but if you're in DOR or pulse mode, you can switch that to rose mode by clicking the middle of the look. That's great when you're coming in from any one of the codes. Get a better idea of what the aircraft is doing, and I'll show where I line up the runway. You have it in rose mode while you're cruising, it shows your road and gives you some land borders if you're not going to get where you are. I prefer dark mode when traffic zooms in on the map a little bit more to get a better idea. Currently flying over Saskatchewan. This is the U.S. border with Canada and the United States. And this is Manitoba. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's North Dakota and South Dakota. So that, my friends, is the departure climb cruise Boeing 737 MAX 10. And we're currently at flight level 350, looking at Mach 179. It is jumping around a little bit due to the outside winds. Winds currently, this is where you want to check out the wind. Winds are currently 319 degrees at 35 knots, and that's a bit of a crosswind off the aft rear. Which gives us a ground speed of 493 knots. Anytime you see this jumping up and down, that's an indication of movement of turbulence. It's not severe at this point, nothing to worry about. If it was any worse, I'd have to turn on the seatbelt sign. Turn off the optional primary flight display. This one's about one. Over here, you can turn on this display and turn on secondary iPad screen, and that gives you your control surfaces, fuel tanks, and your hydraulics and engines. If you look down here, a couple of things of note here. Currently burning 5,800 pounds per hour. That's a little bit misleading because you got to keep in mind you measured your estimated range of the aircraft from cruise altitude to cruise altitude. So we had to climb from the ground up to right up to 350. So it's always going to be a little bit higher than what you're actually going to burn if you have to climb. And that will improve as we shed weight from burning out fuel. Will get lower as we burn out fuel. On average, this aircraft burns about 5,000 pounds per hour overall. When you land at your destination, you want to be somewhere about that, but not too much above it. Ideally, somewhere between 6,000 and 7,000 pounds of fuel would be ideal. There's not much else to do here other than watch the sun come up, and I'm sure you don't want to be bored with that. So we pause the video here, and we'll pick it up when we get to our destination. Have a good day.